I am not a violent person. This is a statement for any law enforcement officers that might be watching this. However, there are many individuals that if given the opportunity, I would absolutely throw hands with on sight. I am talking a Shigo Kim possible level of rivalry. A good portion of the people on this list are not even individuals that I happen to dislike, but I would still fight them out of a sense of morbid curiosity. How would they handle themselves? Would they fight dirty? I would. Now, if I was to fight any of these people in my dream scenario, it would of course have to be in the most elegant of all locations, using the most weebish of all weapons. I am of course talking about a sword fight in a Denny's parking lot. Spectators welcome. In fact, they're encouraged because I'm not sure if my mom's gonna be able to pick me up after, so I might need a ride home. Number 1. Chet Hanks, aka Tom Hanks' son, aka the rapper formerly known as White Chocolate. How the personification of a comfy sweater managed to spawn this clown will forever remain a mystery. If I manage to best him in combat, which I do stand a good chance of because he was raised in Beverly Hills, I would allow him to save himself by busting a sick freestyle. Because what is the fun of an execution if there's no element of comedy? Number 2. Jim Carrey. I wanted to add a Canadian because I wanted the fight to technically qualify as an international match, but I wasn't sure of Chad Kroger's availability. Mr. Carrey is a solid replacement. If I'm going to die, I want it to be at the hands of Ace Ventura. Number 3. Shaq. While his rap album is playing on a stereo nearby, I could climb him like a tree. Maximum damage can be inflicted if I'm close to that milk dud head of his. I'd probably be able to see my own reflection on his dome. You think he'd oil himself up prior to the fight? Cause I would. The greasier you are, the harder it is to grab you. It's a trick I learned from Azalea Banks' blog. Number 4. The Osmonds. All of them, not just Johnny and Marie. I try and take out those two first though, because being the most powerful, their downfall will result in the death of the rest of their clan, sort of like Sauron and his orc army. This event will be my act of revenge against the Mormon Church for refusing my request to borrow Joseph Smith's golden tablets. I promised I'd return them, and I was only kind of lying. Number 5. The corpse of John Lennon. Either propped up like a marionette puppet or just lying lifeless on the ground. Either way, I'll manage to have my fun. I will of course be donning a Yoko Ono costume, and spectators will be instructed to put on a bowl-cut wig that I'll provide for them. Number 6. Anyone who has a legitimate crush on a serial killer. I'm looking at you Ted Bundy weirdos and Richard Ramirez stans. Y'all really are suckers for horrible men with strong jawlines, huh? It's a good thing Dr. Mengele didn't have good bone structure then. Otherwise we would have hordes of people tweeting, I'd let him inject me. Number 7. Rico from Hannah, Montana. He's nimble and probably quick, but I would have a razor blade tucked in my hair as a last resort in case he managed to take my sword. Sorry, Rico, but it is what it is. Why am I even apologizing? This man would probably have anthrax stuffed in his Adidas socks. Number 8. The entire writing staff of The Big Bang Theory. They need to be punished for what they've done. You know what? Throw in a few of the production assistants too. They were complicit. Number 9. Kim Jong-un. He's no Gaddafi or Robert Mugabe in terms of stage presence or raw masculinity, but I'd do quite a lot to see that little ball of dough squirm. Besides, who knows? If I win, maybe I'll get awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a lifetime supply of Takis. I'll accept either. Number 10. Eric Trump, the Habsburg prince himself. The fact that we're fighting with swords is perfect because I have a theory that if you poked him with a sharp object, cotton wool would come out. I would like to test this theory. Number 11. Woody Allen. I'd knock the glasses off of his face while screaming, "Stop writing self-insert characters into your scripts, you sentient bucket hat." So that's my list so far. Who would you want to sword fight in a Denny's parking lot, and why? Give me details. Now, if any of you watching happen to be on this list, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, one more clad. One more clad.
The sea, El Oceana, La Agua Grande, vast, deep, full of biodiversity, from the scheming dolphin to the baby-got-back whale. This is where our ancestors emerged eons ago. It is also disgusting and terrifying. I should know. I've been studying the mysterious waters for years now. Not professionally or in an academic sense, but I do drive up to the shore once a week and glare at the waters while nibbling on a churro that I bought on the boardwalk. I would say that I'm considered an expert. On occasion, the homeless man that frequents the same beach as me comes up and gives me the weekly news rundown. Everything from global politics to which rat gang has managed to rise to power underneath the bridge where he lives. He's the only news source that I trust. He offers me a boiled egg as a gift. I ask, how did you boil that? He responds, you don't want to know. I still accept it though because I need a snack for the drive back. Then eventually I have to leave because the seagulls take notice of my churro. Normally I just shoot down those godless beasts, but I lost my revolver at a Courtney Love meet and greet. She smelled like cigarettes and Jolly Ranchers. The grape flavor. What a classy gal. It is due to my self-appointed expertise in the field of marine biology that I can confidently declare that there needs to be full segregation between the water and land. I have witnessed the creatures that lurk beneath the water's surface, and let me tell you, they are not images that need to be broadcasted anywhere. But I'm going to do it anyway, because what's the point of having a social platform if you don't occasionally scar your audience? Ugh. Ugh. What is that thing? I think I met her once at a warehouse party in Brooklyn. You might think of me as being shallow for looking at these creatures with disgust. And you know what? You'd be correct. Shallowness is one of my only 3 flaws. The other 2 being my attraction to Mitt Romney and my desire to commit arson. But what about snakes and spiders? They're weird looking, but you don't hate them. True. But those creatures have the common decency of being walking vessels of sin on land, where you can see them coming and potentially open up room for negotiation. The damned creatures of the sea, however, lurk around in freezing cold darkness, just waiting. I note that there is a concerted effort on behalf of the marine biologist community to do more research on the ocean floor because most of it has not actually been discovered yet. But what on earth do they expect to find down there? The Ratatouille sequel? The Lindbergh baby? Will any of the newly discovered species exhibit any valuable skills like being able to do a decent Liza Minnelli impersonation or being able to recite every word in the courtroom scene of American cinematic classic Legally Blonde? I think not. So what is the point? They might be able to find a new kind of fish that digests its food through its eyeballs, and if you squint a little, it looks kind of like Leonard Nimoy. But that's the best case scenario. I haven't even mentioned the filth. The ocean is the world's largest toilet/garbage can, and technically speaking, if you're adventurous enough, the largest free drink you'll ever encounter. Throw in some tequila and lime juice and now it's a margarita. If you can slurp it up with a bendy straw, it's a drink. Don't quote me on that. Every time I see people frolicking around in the waves, I think, you're getting splattered with fish excrement and whale spunk. Oh, their mouths are open. Even better. Now, I have personal beef with the Atlantic Ocean, mainly because it knocked off 2 pairs of LensCrafters glasses off my face when I was younger. Why did I go back into the water a second time? Because I'm incapable of learning from my mistakes. From that day on, my anger towards the ocean has aged like a fine wine and is now a mature disgust, and I would like to spread this sentiment to all of you. So don't trust the ocean. The next time you drive by the shore, give it the finger as you shout. You're nothing, ocean. You're a deadbeat. Just like your father.
Yeah, one more class. One more class.
There are times where I sit at my window and think to myself out loud, oh, but to have the carefree life of a field mouse. To live in a giant tulip in a field in the middle of the Netherlands. To have a life expectancy of about 2 years and pop out a litter of children and only begin naming them after a few weeks because I know only 1/3 of them will survive. Spending the evening staring up at the tranquil night sky and making sure that my spawn are still breathing. I'd hear the local Dutch walking around on occasion, speaking their Simlish-like language. But if you had their average quality of life, would you care how silly you sounded? A little bit, yeah. Tourists would come to the tulip field in order to get some coveted Instagram photos. I would nibble holes in their bags when they weren't looking. Now your tinted chapstick is going to fall out on the way home, Linda. Have fun on vacation with your dry, crusted lips. As she takes pictures of her friend, her phone lights up with a Facebook notification. Looks like her ex just posted a photo with his new girlfriend. She bears a striking resemblance to her. Linda pretends it doesn't bother her, but it does. I begin to feel a tinge of guilt for damaging her personal property so callously, until I realize her left foot has squashed the tulip home that I spent weeks decorating. Went on mouse Pinterest and everything. My guilt dissipates. I see off my mouse offspring when they reach an age of self-reliance. With little knapsacks in hand, they wave goodbye to me, leaving behind the only place that they've known as home. Goodbye, mother, they shout to me. I wave back as I realize that I've already forgotten their names. Now that the children are gone, I can spend my retirement partying with my mice girlfriends, gabbing it up, drinking droplets of water hanging from blades of grass, eating whatever it is that field mice eat. Insects, I'm assuming. One of the crickets we caught is still alive and pleads with us.
Please spare my life. I have many talents. Just watch.
He proceeds to jump up and produce a tiny top hat from behind his wings and then did an entire tap routine. Where he got a hat that tiny, I will never know. But we were thoroughly entertained. Thank you for that performance, Jiminy. But unfortunately, the goddess of death has made her decision and she is without mercy. He makes for a delicious entree. Do I feel any remorse? No. This is nature. One of us will probably end up getting snatched up by a bird in a few weeks, and thus the cycle of life continues. I look up at the stars. What do I do now? Perhaps explore the human world? So I jump into one of the bags of the tourists that wander onto the field. He is a hippie, or a hipster, or homeless. I can't tell the difference. Initially, the scent of incense and dirt that clings onto him is off-putting, like a pseudo-spiritual Yankee candle, but I learn to enjoy it. Unfortunately, he eventually joins a drum circle. This is too much freedom. Much love to the Dutch, but they are not exactly world-renowned for their sense of rhythm. I bid adieu and attempt to make it back to my field, but I have no clue where I am. Cold and alone, I wander around the city, eventually venturing into the red light district. I stare up in awe at the women dancing in the window. I'm tempted to join them. One gently motions at me to come inside, but I I have no cash on me, and I don't think these places do IOUs. Distressed and all alone, I scurry over to one of the bridges and stand on the ledge. "Don't jump!" a drunk woman yells, but I've already made up my mind. I fling my tiny rat body off the ledge. My short life flashes before my eyes, as does an image of Bette Midler for some reason. The footage of me ending it all becomes a viral TikTok titled Ratatouille Alternative Ending. That could have been my life, but no. Instead, I'm trapped in this flesh cage, forced to endure the daily shuffle of this mortal coil. I mean, my life isn't actually all that bad, but despite this, I will continue to complain because ingratitude is one of my specialties. Oh well. I suppose the next best thing is to just become a furry. Stay tuned.